I was unable to get a signal to look at the weather on any other corroborating weather apps, but the Garmin weather says that it's not supposed to rain anymore today, that the 30% chance of rain will come like in the middle of the, not in the middle of the night, but late in the evening, like 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And that's a weather report that I just downloaded about an hour ago, so it should be relatively up to date. And I forgot to say, good morning, it's day 54. I suddenly find myself walking in the opposite direction because I opened the app, the Far Out app, and find myself not on the red line, but a little bit off the red line. So now I'm having to backtrack to make sure I didn't miss a split. That's the perils of hiking in dense fog and the perils of talking into a camera while I'm hiking. Well, this is embarrassing. I've walked all the way back to the sign that says no horses on the AT, and the AT goes off to the left from these signs, and I went off to the right on the Virginia Highlands horse trail, apparently. Oh, I didn't even notice this arrow. I had an arrow on it right there. So, because that trail is virtually invisible, and this trail is very, very distinct. But I probably hiked a half mile on that thing, at least a third. Okay, there's a blaze facing the other way. Good morning.
Good morning.
I do have to say, with or without the fog, we were passing through some just truly beautiful woods at the current state of spring. Hey, according to this, I might have rejoined the AT right here if I'd have stayed on the trail I was on earlier. But anyway, I would have felt lost the entire time and probably been panicking in the fog. So yeah, either the fog burned off or we're above it. I feel like it burned off because I can kind of see out to the horizon through the trees. But it's warmed up enough to where I took the rain jacket off and the t-shirt layer. But it's still fairly cool when the breeze hits. And of course I'll be climbing starting now, so I should warm back up. Here's the view going up trail. Climbing. These stone steps right here. Yeah, we're just like cloud-like mist kind of comes and goes at this elevation, but I'm still going up. See, the sun just came out again, but it's fog off in that direction. So I feel like we're like in the liminal zone between being in a cloud and being in a sunny woods. The scent of pine is very strong right here. Okay, does the Grayson Highlands now house free-range elephants, or do all the horses and ponies gather in one place to poop on top of each other? I've never seen that much poop in one place. I've seen horses poop before. That just seems weird. These are little horses. Anyway, this gap between these boulders is nicknamed or named Fat Man Squeeze, and well, let's go through it. If that tree weren't in the way, it'd be a cakewalk. Okay, this is kind of cool, but it's not that tight. Oops. I gotta say, this is exhausting. And for some reason, I don't remember it being like this, but I'm sure it was. But it's just been non-stop like this for the last, whatever time it is, hour or two, ever since I left Thomas Knob, pretty much. Well, I didn't want to walk over there and bother the poor guy while he's eating, but there's a pony right there. That close to the trail. That's not that far. There may be more later, but that's the first and only pony I've seen today. We are right at Massey Gap. The road to Massey Gap, I just crossed it, is right here. And that goes down to the parking lot where all the day hikers come into the Highlands. It's too far for me to get to Old Orchard shelter in a reasonable time, so I'm going to stop at a campsite just after Scales. And Scales is about 3 miles away, so the campsite's like 3.3. And Far Out's showing it with no water, but all the comments are saying there's plenty of water. There's a creek that runs right there, and it's a nice campsite and good flow and all that. So that sounds good, and the distance is about right. I should get there about 6, whereas I would be closer to 8 if I went all the way to Old Orchard, which is right at sunset, or right when it starts getting dark even. And I need to give my feet a break. And then Scales is a little fenced corral type field that used to be where they would gather and weigh the cattle before they shipped them off, or something like that. A holdover from when this was cattle grazing kind of cowboy country. All right, so these 3 are practically directly on the trail. Sorry. Like your hair.